Josh Giddey and Kobe White lead the way tonight in a huge victory against the Minnesota Timberwolves for the Chicago Bulls, and we're going to get into that right after this. Hello and welcome back, everybody. It's Chi-Town Sports Pod. The Chicago Bulls played the Timberwolves tonight, and the Timberwolves are 27-18 now after tonight. The Bulls are 22-22, back to 500, but tonight's game was absolutely amazing. There are a lot of ups and downs in this game, crucial point differential and stuff like that. There were some runs where the Chicago Bulls were on very, very bad droughts. But at the end of the day, the Chicago Bulls pulled out a victory, a 120-115 victory. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and how the game kind of went down. And, Josh Giddey was back this game. Patrick Williams was also back this game. Patrick Williams really didn't play too much this game, only 16 minutes. He had 5 points on 2 and 3 shooting from the field, had 3 rebounds and 1 turnover. Patrick Williams, obviously his play has digressed. But watching tonight's game, he was efficient, but, only taking 2-3 shots, we want to see him be more aggressive. The standouts for tonight were obviously Josh Giddey coming back. We really needed Josh Giddey back to really fulfill this lineup and really get the team back on pace to where we once were. Because with him being out, our pace of play and everything like that has been very, very poor. Even with Trey Jones, Trey Jones plays fast and runs the floor and paces the game very well, but Josh Giddey just does it on an elite level for the Chicago Bulls, and it's very good to finally have him back. The Bulls shot 44% from the field, while the Timberwolves shot 46%. We shot 44% from 3, which is very good for the Chicago Bulls, and the Timberwolves only shot 37%. We had 14 turnovers, or the Timberwolves had 14 turnovers, and we had 12. That was a big part of the game was turnovers. Kobe White, he had 4. He's averaging a career high in turnovers this year, and he's averaging about 3 a game. And, we would really like to see that cut down for Kobe White, because Kobe White is if one of our primary ball handlers, if not the primary ball handler behind Josh Giddey. And having your point guard average 3 turnovers a game is not really effective and not something that we really want to see. But Josh Giddey tonight was absolutely phenomenal. He was on a minute restriction, was only supposed to play about 24 minutes tonight, but it started to get close towards the end of the game, and around 7 minutes, Billy Donovan put Josh Giddey back in, and Josh Giddey was sitting around 19-20 minutes, and Josh Giddey ended up playing 26 minutes. He had ended up with 21 points, 7 for 13 shooting from the field. He went 7 for 9 from the free throw line. He had 6 rebounds and 5 assists and 2 steals as well. And for him to come back, play off the bench like that is very crucial for the Chicago Bulls. If we don't have Josh Giddey this game is not a winnable game, especially with how he played. Trey Jones also had a very, very big impact. Had a huge defensive plays down the stretch, a huge steal towards the end of the game. And honestly, Trey Jones played great defense on Anthony Edwards. I would assume he played 22 minutes tonight, only 8 points. He shot 2 for 9 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3. It wasn't the most efficient night for IL, but, sometimes, you have those off nights and stuff like that. But one of the key things I really want to talk about this game is Nikola Vucevic. He played 31 minutes, had 10 points, 3 of 10 from the field, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. And really, the big thing is his lack of defense. It's been a problem throughout this whole season since he's come to the Chicago Bulls. But tonight, it was honestly really, really hard to watch him play defense. His help defense was very bad, and it was just really hard to watch. I feel like he kind of just lets offensive players just go right by him. There are a few plays where some Timberwolves players were coming downhill, and he kind of just stepped off to the side and really didn't step up to try to defend the shot, maybe take a charge or something along the lines like that, even contest the shot just to defer it. But I think Vooch really has to take a look at his defensive standpoint when he walks onto the court and really think about what he has to do and where he should be rotating. Another player for tonight was Modest Buzelis. He saw, it's not the best of shooting nights, but, he looked very calm and like in a rhythm. He had 12 points, 3 of 8 shooting, not the best of shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, which is very good. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. He's a young kid coming into this game. You gotta expect him to be a little up and down. The pace of play be a little all over the place. But Modest has shown very, very good flashes. He had a great dunk there in that game on Dante DiVincenzo. It was a great. It was on Dante's head, to be honest. But anyways, yeah, Modest he looked really good this game. I thought the Bulls played honestly pretty good. The first quarter not bad. They started off the game very well, only down 32-26, and then going into that second quarter, it looked a little shaky once the second quarter started. But through that second quarter, we outscored them 34-29 in that second quarter, and at half, I was a little weary about how this game was gonna end because on the other end, Julius Randle was absolutely torching us. He played 31 minutes, had 30 points, 10 for 17 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Coming down the stretch when the game was close, I was getting a little nervous about how the Timberwolves were going to use him to try and score. And, Anthony Edwards didn't really have the best of games tonight. He played 35 minutes, only had 20 points. Obviously 20 points is good, but for Anthony Edwards, you expect a little bit more. He shot 9 for 25 in the field, 1 for 8 from 3, which is what you don't really expect from Anthony Edwards. And in that last play that the Timberwolves ran, Anthony Edwards took a fading 3 in the corner with like 8 seconds left, and I was very confused. I didn't think it was the best shot selection, and I really thought they could have drew up a different type of play, but that's what the Chris Finch had drawn up for them, or what Anthony Edwards had planned, and I really didn't think it was the most efficient shot. And the Bulls ended up getting that rebound and kind of dribbling the ball out and getting free throws and fouled from that. So, the Timberwolves had a great game. Naz Reid had a really good game, 20 points on 8 of 12 shooting, 4 for 7 from 3. Really good game. Jaden McDaniels also had a very good defensive game. And I think our biggest takeaway from this game is also fast break because of how we run the floor based off the players that we have, like Trey Jones, Kobe White, Josh Giddey. They love to get downhill. We outscored them 17-12 on the fast break. So I think that was a really crucial kind of stat or thing that stood out for this game when looking at how the Bulls overcame the Timberwolves. But ending the night, the Bulls win against the Timberwolves 120-115. Bulls now sit at 500. But let me know down in the comments how you think this end of the season is going to play out, especially with the trade deadline coming up. Just let me know what you guys think down below about what type of moves the Bulls could make to kind of up this roster and really get it going and back into motion. But that's going to be all for this one, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.